So for those who do not know, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2. I was wondering if I could get some. My fiance is bipolar and borderline personality. I have been able to handle her. However, I can't seem to help her bipolar depression. I asked her multiple times to talk to someone, but she's scared. I've offered to go with her, but she still refuses. How do I help during these periods, since I really want to be there, even though she says that she's fine and can handle it on her own? So for a disclaimer, I am not a medical professional, nor do I claim to be. I can only speak from personal experience, my opinion, and things like that. So for those who do not know, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2. First of all, let me start by saying I don't necessarily know the actual diagnosis of your fiance, because if she has bipolar and a borderline personality but refuses to speak with someone, then it leaves me to wonder, where did that diagnosis come from? Where did it originate? Because you cannot just go online and diagnose yourself, because what you may think these symptoms are reflecting may be something completely different. So with that being said, you cannot treat one issue with a cure for another. So that's my first concern, because bipolar is different than a personality disorder. So let's just keep that in mind as we go forward. So yes, with that in mind, educate yourself. Try to understand what it is that your fiance is actually battling with, so that you then will know how to handle her, what to say, what not to say, what things can help, what things will cause more issue. For bipolar, I can explain that one for myself because I've been there and am still there. For bipolar, for me, I will say that the bi definitely means two. I will have days that I'm extremely manic, and I will have days that I'm in a form of depression. Those are the days that I call dark days. The up days are more so my manic behavior, where I'm super optimistic. I do a lot of impulsive things. As far as my relationship goes, my manic days are more so days where I'm very, very attracted to my partner. I am very, very affectionate. I'm very vocal on how it is that I feel about them, and I just can't seem to get enough of them, and I'm so high up. On those less manic days where I am more so depressed, I'm sad, those are days that I really don't want to be bothered. I really don't want you to say much to me. I might even tell you that I don't want to do this anymore. And those are all behaviors that are unprovoked. There's nothing that my husband is doing that's making me feel this way, but these are things that, for whatever reason, either the positive is playing 10 times stronger, or the negative is playing 10 times stronger. So keep that in mind. And with that being said, try not to be easily offended. Try not to be too sensitive, and try to understand those days and what's happening and why they're feeling this way. Also, on the flip side, just because she's bipolar or dealing with a personality disorder does not mean that that is always the reason why she's lashing out. So don't think that, oh, we're having an argument, that your bipolar must be flaring up. Don't treat her in that way or assume that, because there's always a catalyst to this emotion. There's never a time that I personally can recall and say, oh, I just flipped everything for no reason. Even if it was me blowing it out of proportion, there was still something that caused me to feel however it was I was feeling. There was still something there. Like, let's say I am in a depressed kind of mood or a dark day. I may feel insecure on that day. I may feel like maybe he's not attracted to me. Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And that is all something that maybe I didn't really feel like he was being as affectionate with me, or maybe I felt like, I've always had this deep down concern about this or that. So those emotions originate from somewhere. Now, where they end up is a whole nother story, but they originate from somewhere. So handle, your partner with care. Don't just be like, oh, well, your bipolar flaring up. Oh, you must be in a different personality or something like that. Try not to go into that mindset. Let's see, what else did I put down? I have my notes, so that's what I'm looking at, as you guys probably know. Listen to what's said and what's not said. Oh, and try to get your fiance to see the shifts in her mood, because that was something, like I said, everything doesn't work for everybody, but for me, it took a lot of like diligence, and it took a lot of time and a lot of communication and a lot of focus and a lot of self-reflection for me to get to a point of being able to handle my emotions and communicate them. It took a long time for me to get there. And I didn't do it on my own. I had friends, the support of my fiance. I had a lot of support around me. So it took a lot for me to get to a point of noticing that, hey, you're very, very hyper. Like, why are you all the way up here and then you're all the way down here? And what is causing these things? What are my triggers? Why does, me being sad lead to me being depressed, whereas a normal person can just be sad and get out of that mood? Why am I so hyper that anybody who isn't as hyper is making me feel as though they don't want to be bothered? Those are all things to try to understand, because once you're able to identify the problem, then you can form some type of attack to simmer down that issue. So it's important for her to be able to see these shifts, because a lot of times you're not able to see it because to you they happen so fast, but to the person from the outside looking in, it's like, no, I just kind of watched you go from here to here, or from A to Z, or 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds. So yeah, that's a big part of it. And also, I will say, reassure her that you can handle it. Reassure her of that, because for people that have mental illness, they always feel as though they are a burden to other people, or they are hurting other people, or we are making the other person resent us or see us in a negative light, because why can't we be normal? Or why am I reacting this way? Or why am I like this? Just in general. So reassure her that you can handle it. Reassure her that you would rather be in the picture and take these hits and deal with these things than to be out of the picture and have her dealing with it on her own. Yes. So what else? I'm trying to think of like things that I did, but it's hard to explain because I don't really know the origin of her diagnosis, nor do I know if that's actually what it is. Yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of a tricky one, because the only thing I can really speak on is the bipolar portion. And like I said, bipolar for everyone is different. She might be bipolar type 1, bipolar type 2, bipolar with depression, bipolar with this, bipolar anxiety. It's so many different things. So, it's important to, like I said, try to get her to see someone. Try to get some type of actual diagnosis. So that is going to lead me into my getting help tab that I have for my notes. Communicate, figure out what her fear is and where it's stemming from. Figure out what it is that her concern is with going to get help. Is she afraid of being labeled? Is she afraid of like finding out some other stuff is wrong with her? Is she afraid that they'll try to put her on medication? All of these things could be what is preventing her from wanting to get help, or what is scaring her from the idea of getting help. But it's important to help her understand that you aren't obligated under any tenses to take the medication if that's what the fear is, and try to bring reason to the situation. Try to get her to understand that I am more afraid of you not knowing what's going on with you, because when you don't know, I can't help you, you can't help you, we're both lost. So even if you use it in a sense of, hey, I really think that we should go sit down and talk to somebody, I would like to be there with you, or whatever makes you comfortable. I don't necessarily have to be there, but for the sake of me being able to help you and me feeling as though I am contributing to this process and helping you in it, I need to know what's going on, because without me knowing what's going on, I can't help you. Therefore, I'm doing you a disservice as your fiance. So try to, help her understand that it's not just about her, but also still be sensitive, and don't put it in a sense of an ultimatum. Like, don't be like, oh, if you don't get help, I'm gonna leave. But bring those things to her awareness. Like, I can't help you if I don't know what's going on. I can't do anything. I don't know what to do. I feel helpless. I feel as though I am not helping you, or I don't know how to be there or love you or care for you in the way in which you need during this time, or during these times. So that's I don't know. I wish I really knew like this is a diagnosis and things like that, because that is the big part in it. Like if you don't know the actual diagnosis, then you can't really do anything. So as much as she doesn't want to go, you have to respect that, but also allow her to see, or help her to see, a different perspective, because from her perspective, she's fine. She don't need the help, but you need to bring to perspective, like real perspective, that hey babe, this is affecting us in this way, and this is making me feel this way, and I'm not trying to be insensitive to what it is that you're going through, because it's your battle and it's not something that I can tell you how to handle. But for the sake of us going forward, and for the sake of us getting married, and for the sake of us having children involved, and for the sake of us being together for the rest of our lives, I don't know what to do to help you, or how I can help you, and these are my concerns, and this is why these are my concerns. It's important to bring you guys' relationship into the perspective, because right now it seems as though she's handling her emotions and her mental health as a singular like being. Just this is just me who has to deal with this, and she's not really understanding how it is affecting the other party. And with that, I will say that if the love is really there, which I hope that it is, that she will begin to see that. Once you put that into perspective and you help her understand it, she'll start to understand what it is that you're saying, understand your concerns. And even if she doesn't understand your concerns, the fact that you are addressing it and putting it out there will then cause her to have to do some self-reflection. And because of her love for you and you guys' relationship, and seeing that you're sincere, seeing that you're there, seeing that you're committed to the process, she will eventually in her own time get to a point of realizing like, hey, even if not for myself, I have to do this for my fiance, and I have to show her that I'm in this, and you know, all types of stuff like that. That was something that was important to me. I was engaged, and when I was engaged, you know, it took for my fiance to bring it to my attention, like, you know, I love you and I'm here for you, and I want to be there for you, and I want to be able to help you through these times, but until you let me in, there's nothing that I know to do, and I feel as though I'm doing all of the wrong things because I don't know what the right things are. So that's something that made me realize, like, man, I'm always so busy trying to protect my fiance with the, oh, I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want to drag you into the mix of this, and I don't want to be a burden, and I don't want to be frustrating, and I don't want to be all of these things. But I had to realize that it wasn't my decision to make to protect him from me, because if he wanted to be there, then I had to accept that and realize that, you know, I can't determine what's too much for him to handle. But I also have to get to a point of realizing that I have to accept some accountability and take control of myself and my mental health and get it under control, because if I want a healthy relationship, I have to be healthy. I have to be contributing a healthy person, a healthy 100% of a whole being into my relationship. So that is my advice. I recommend trying to really understand her, doing the research, doing everything that you can to get on one page with her. I definitely encourage her going to speak with someone, or you guys going to speak with someone, addressing your concerns, being sensitive to her needs, not being easily offended. And I think that pretty much wraps up everything that I said, I believe. So I hope that that helps. Be sure to tune in. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Share it. Subscribe. Comments. All of that good stuff. Thank you for tuning in. Always with love. Your girl, CoCoa.